welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball. Game7baseball.com.
Good morning.
Good morning. I love doing that. It's pretty fun.
Is that like are you trying to do like your James Earl Jones?
No.
Your own thing?
It's just,
Your own
I
thing?
don't know.
It's cute. It is. It works. I like it. Hopefully everybody else likes it.
We love Game 7 Baseball. That we're going to be out. We've got a string of events coming up, starting with Mother's Day. Then we'll be out again for the Midland Invitational. And after that, the Armed Forces Day Classic. Love that one. So got some good stuff happening here. Going to be out there. We got our 14U Spotlight. We're doing our Super 7 Scholarship along with the Top Award. It's going to be a lot of fun. Good weekends coming up. Hopefully the weather abates a little.
I was just going to say that. It is the last 2 weeks of weather have been such an interesting, because it just downpours and it just takes away the whole weekend. And then you have such a beautiful Saturday and Sunday this week, but that rain on Friday just destroyed everything.
And that's tough because unfortunate we were out at the GAC Baseball Classic this past weekend, and on Saturday we thought Friday it was a little cool. We had a rain delay of about 45 minutes. Thanks to the fans for sticking in there. Thanks to the Zumwalt coaches, the fans, the folks supporting what we're doing, watching the ball games. The same with the Holt coaches, Coach Perkle, Coach Anselm, Liberty, Coach Reeder, ADs. I think it's Jason Green, and Coach Kerry Eldridge. I'm trying to remember all the names.
That's pretty impressive.
All these folks, I love the support they're giving us, and we're having a great time with the GAC. It was good ball games. A 7-6 walk-off by East over Christian on Friday. It was a 3-2 win by Holt. Liberty didn't give up. They played at 2 in the bottom of the 7th, and it made it close, but
Liberty's scrappy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they have times and they've given up some runs, but we played them not too long ago, and we beat them 3-0. But, again, scrappy.
Yeah.
They're not giving up a ton of runs, and they have guys that pump the strikes, and I think they got a good pitch caller.
Yeah.
They have a game plan against these groups.
They do. And then on Saturday, Lord was good to us. Lauren and I were praying, keep the weather away, and it did. We had one little deluge there, and it went away, and we had Troy and Oak Grove. Troy, that was a much-needed win for their program. They had 2 against Oak Grove. They walked it off in the first game, 1-0, and then beat Oak Grove 9-2 in the second game. And then the St. Charles West and the Sullivan Eagles down there, it was a really good game. It was 4-0. Sullivan had some hits. They just couldn't scratch a run. Jackson Mears from St. Charles West pitched a complete game shutout. He was really good on the mound. When he got himself in trouble, he got some defense and made some pitches and got himself out of trouble.
That's baseball, ain't it?
Yeah. Young man, the third baseman, and then he played shortstop for Sullivan, Gavin Schmidt, on that side. Dude, I haven't seen a glove that smooth in a while. I'm serious.
We don't get a chance to face him, obviously, being down in
Sullivan. But I'm watching him. He took away hits. Josh Newell can hit. He hit a smoking one-hopper down the third base line. Schmidt's playing at the cut.
Oh, boy.
Right? And it was just like backhand, snapped it up on a short hop and a strong throw.
Nice.
And I was like, did I just see that? Okay, all right. Whereas his eyes closed. We do that at high school. You think, sometimes. And I was talking to Coach Allen afterwards from St. Charles, and he's there at third base, and he goes, no, dude, his eyes weren't closed. That was a heck of a play.
New Rule will keep you honest.
Yes.
Coach Allen will keep you honest. And he We've seen some defenders out there. There's, every team's got a dude somewhere that can play, and it's cool to see some of these guys working on a craft instead of just hitting or just pitching. They're trying to work on their defense.
And it was throughout the whole game, and then play after play, I'm like, this kid's for real. And then he goes to shortstop and keeps that, that bloop in no man's land in the 6-hole, right?
Yeah.
Over the shoulder. You see that at the major league level.
Yeah.
College. Very seldom do you see it at the high school level, right?
The reaction.
On a dead sprint.
Yeah, the reads.
Boom.
Yep.
That's very difficult. People don't realize how difficult that play is over your shoulder trying to catch the balls that's coming that way. I mean, it's just like, boom, there. I was like, dang, this kid's for real.
Was there runners on?
Yes. Yeah.
How was his awareness afterwards?
It's third out.
Oh, so that didn't matter. Never mind. Disregard.
Yeah. I think it was a third out. I'm just saying it was, but his whole game defensively, he didn't have as good a day at the plate. He walked once. He put the ball in play, hit the ball hard. He's leading the team with a 370 something average. Slugging is over 500. I mean, he hits.
What year
the ball.
is he?
I think he was a junior.
So he's still got some time. Is he verbaled anywhere or?
Didn't see. I don't know much about it. That's just,
yeah.
And so I'm just bringing stuff up. But he was our player of the game on that side, and we had Jackson Mears on. It was just a really well played game. It really was. I was very pleased. The coaches at Sullivan were great. Appreciate those guys. They were very accommodating, and I'm just so very pleased at how well everybody is jumping in, and it's a lot of fun. It really is.
I think it gives light to the conference in the area, the kids, and what you guys are trying to do when you guys go out there and watch these, GSC games of the week, or you go in and do these events, these showcases, or whatever that was called this weekend. I apologize, but
it was the GAC Baseball Classic.
Okay,
they do it every year.
Yeah, and for us, it's exciting. I think the players get to be excited about it, and get their first taste of interviews, and stuff like that. And
That's always the fun one.
Which could be something that, a couple years down the road, some of these guys are going to have to be doing for SIDs and, little local newspapers or wherever they go play college ball. So it gives their little first experience. I think it's really neat. And,
that filters into what we're talking about today with Game 7 baseball. This weekend we're going to be out. We're going to be doing that with some of the 14Us. And hopefully, because a lot of these kids are from these areas and moving into the GAC schools. And even we're trying to get into the metro. Our finale is going to be in about a little over a week from Friday. We're going to go over to Edwardsville for Francis Howell in Edwardsville.
Yeah, man.
That's some baseball right there, bro.
I might go over there and watch it. Edwardsville's program for
they're undefeated right now.
Are they really?
Yes. They are undefeated.
They are number one in large schools. I saw that. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that they were undefeated right now.
Oh,
this goes back to in the late 90s when they had the group that went 44 and something over like that 2-year span, or 49-0 and won back-to-back state championships with the Hutton brothers over there. Only reason I know them is I played adult baseball against them in the Montclair League, and I learned how good Edwardsville is. Obviously, Edwardsville's a small town, and so you don't really hear much about them on this side of the river, but now you do.
Oh, so. and Coach Funkhauser, it's really nice talking to him. He's real down to earth guy. Just, hey, how you doing? It's just that he's a real nice guy, very open. It was great. Appreciate him allowing us to come over to the ballpark and do this broadcast, because I think that's going to be a fun one. A little cross river action going, right?
If you need to have dinner after that, let me know. I got a buddy that's just opened up a brand new joint over there. So
oh, cool. There you go. Maybe get him in here, being sponsored and all that stuff. We'll give him some love.
It's Edwardsville.
There you go. I don't care.
It's a long ways. It's not really.
I got my sister.
It's not even far.
They live over in Troy. We got family over there.
Oh, there you go.
All right, baseball game 7.
Oh, jinx.
We're on the same page.
Kinda.
We got it. And, it just opened up because a lot of these kids, that's what I'm looking for. As we're building, this is what we've done. The building blocks is, in tournament baseball, these kids coming up, they're going to be playing high school baseball. I love this whole process and getting to know more and more of these kids. In Game 7 baseball, they had the Midwest Thunder was hosting a Game 7 tournament down in Perryville, Missouri. at Perryville City Park. So they've got it. They had 38 teams there. You also had Middle Tennessee. Of course, Game 7 baseball in Tennessee, that's around the Nashville area. You're talking about, they had 103 teams. I don't know if they played 4 teams down there. I don't know if they did that. Yeah, they did. They had just a quick 13U AAA 4-team tournament down at St. Genevieve at their turf series. Had the Jackson Tribe Black, Illinois Gators, St. Genevieve River Dogs, and the TC Titans. And they just played a round robin with the Illinois Gators, Perigo, I guess that's his name, Perigo, I'd imagine, beating the Jackson Tribe 5-1. And, you know, Mitch, here's one of the things I'm very interested in. When we look at that Perryville deal down there, there's a lot of good baseball concentrated in that, and I even pulled the map up because I'm looking at this. I did. From, you got St. Gen, that's terrible.
It happens.
My mouth quit working. Sorry, folks. St. Genevieve to Perryville to Jackson to Cape Girardeau. There's a lot of good baseball just in that corridor, isn't there?
Small towns, yeah. There's just a bunch of small towns, and what's interesting is those small towns stay together, big time. And you can even take that reach to Farmington a little bit further down from Perryville. If you get down there, the DeSoto area, the Herculaneum area, those guys, I know that they're not necessarily next door neighbors to these towns, but they're close. And it seems like these small towns can get a nice little draw for some of their athletes.
Yeah, because we've talked about, you have Pacific right there to Hillsborough, to Festus, DeSoto, St. Clair, and then Sullivan, like we talked about. We saw Sullivan High School this weekend. They're on that 44 corridor. That's all in that southern area. We don't normally get to see as much.
Right.
Yeah. Now, the Jackson Tribe have been coming up and playing up in Game 7 tournaments for quite a bit. So we've seen a little bit there. And then this Midwest Thunder put on that tournament. And, starting with the 9U, again, that's the Midwest Thunder, Young Bucks. I think that's a group out of Festus or some in that area. St. Gen River Dogs, of course, and the Missouri Bulls. Missouri Bulls, we were down there with those guys for the winter workout tour in Cape Girardeau. And so you're seeing these squads, and I think it's great that you're getting the Tropics, Midwest Thunder, Southeast Missouri Titans, Missouri Bulls in the 10U. And I think I'm going to go down here. The Young Bucks took that 12-8 in 9U. And then in the 10U, you had the Tropics, SEMO Tropics. Isn't that what you were talking about?
Yeah, I think that's a part of the little group that has the adult team as well that's playing in the Montclair League. And their uniforms are tropical.
Tropical. Why can't we have the Tropics in Southeast Missouri, right?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know if it makes 100% sense down there. I mean, they like cowboy boots and cowboy hats and stuff, but
there you go.
Teach their own.
Well, that 10U team, they beat the Midwest Thunder 17-7 in the championship. And then in 11U, you had 6 teams: Southeast Missouri Titans, Randolph County Redbirds. Now, I don't know where Randolph County is, so I'm not quite familiar with that.
I feel like that's a Illinois area.
Could be on the other side of the river.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
Let's peek. Look at you, Redbud, Illinois. Redbud.
I travel a lot.
Redbud, Illinois. So that is just on the other side there. Cape Girardeau, Perryville's right there. So it's over off in this. I don't see. Oh, there it is. There's Redbud right there.
That, yeah.
Just kind of opposite of Festus there.
Yeah.
I always think it's nice to get a view of where these things are when we're talking about it. People have an idea, right?
Well, you're seeing what I'm noticing in these Game 7 events is you're starting to see teams kind of migrate a little bit regionally, like in small regions, counties maybe. But there's a bunch of teams that are traveling to destinations to play because their tournaments are hosted well, or the fields are nice, or it's just nice to see new faces. It's not the same, and this is no offense to any large
No,
organization
no.
here. But you don't want to go into a weekend and see a bunch of Gators teams or a bunch of Tigers teams, or it's cool to see the Jackson Tribe come up here or the Perryville Stars come up or anything like that. So I like it. I think it's awesome. And then knowing how far they're traveling, they're dedicated to it. And a lot of these are state of plays from what I understand. So if any of these teams are staying, they're right down the road or whatever, but some of these are just an hour out.
Yeah, exactly.
In a small town an hour away. So they travel back and forth.
And you got the Jackson Tribe taking care of business. They beat the Midwest Thunder. It looks like the Thunder may have just ran out of pitching because in the semifinal they beat the Missouri Bulls 12-11. So you might just run out of pitching and too late. It happens, right?
Depth. We always talk about depth.
And that's at the 11U. So you've got the 12U, Southeast Missouri Diamond Dogs, Southeast Missouri Strikers, St. John River Dogs, Missouri Bulls, TC Titans, Midwest Thunder, Missouri Gators, 12U went down, Tribe Freedom. And the SEMO Strikers won the championship 9-5 over the Southeast Missouri Diamond Dogs. So, all right. And then I'm going to go to the 13U because I like these Missouri Bulls again. Power Alley Dirtbags. Gotta love that one. That's interesting. They're out of Harrisburg, Illinois, going down there. The Southern Illinois Yard Goats.
I love minor league baseball, and the names in some of these minor league teams are just.
Did the coach? Maybe that coach did play some minor league ball because the Yard Goats.
Have you seen their logo?
No.
Oh, you gotta look up their logo.
That's killer, man. That could be on our top 10 list right there. The Yard Goats.
Oh, you need to look up minor league baseball names.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. Midwest Thunder.
The last one.
Oh, wait a minute. What's better? The Yard Goats won it. They won the championship. 13U.
I think the hat. I'm just going back to this hat. The last time I looked at the hat, I think was a goat with some big old horns on it biting a baseball
I don't
bat.
know if this is, but I mean that's.
Well, no, I know that.
Yeah.
The minor league team.
Okay, all right. 14U, St. John River Dogs, the Knights, Midwest Thunder, SEMO Cardinals. We saw the SEMO Cardinals. They're a good ball. They're a good ball team. SEMO Mayhem, Midwest Thunder, and in the championship game. That's what's interesting. The SEMO Cardinals kind of did that. They were, I think, 1-1 up here when we were over here. They were 1-1 in pool play, the 4 seed. They won the tournament.
I always go back to that. It's just how do you manage your pool play games so that you don't end up like I know that this weekend is a large tournament for 14U Mother's Day, and if you're in the bottom half of this bracket, you're not going to be playing in that top bracket for the championship of the top bracket. And so how do you manage that? If you
got to keep your runs down for one.
Right. Well,
if you're going to go 1-1, you can't have a lot of runs against.
It's just like how do you manage your rosters, and your pitching staff come pool play, and what matters, to your team and stuff the most. And this is what you're seeing because I'm noticing that a lot of these teams, like there's only been 1 or 2 that have taken the top 2 seeds and ended up in the championship bracket.
Right.
All the other ones seem to be a 4 seed or a 3 seed or somewhere down in the middle end up taking it. Are they saving their arms for the bracket play or, are they pitching a guy 1 inning or 2 innings and then shutting him down and he's pitching 3 or 4 the next day? I'm getting it. This is interesting.
I think this
baseball.
And when you're talking about these things, and we're talking about youth baseball, and as you're moving up, as you're growing as a team and whatnot, and I think this is interesting. And I would hope as we talk about these things, this is some of the stuff I enjoy the discussion. How do you manage a team in a tournament like this? Do you have enough arms to play tournament baseball? Because I think there are teams that really don't. No offense to the coaches or anything or to the squads. It's just the reality of it. And I know that these teams come out and they play and they're working hard and they're engaged and whatnot. But in the end, these teams just don't have enough depth on the mound to get that done.
One of the things that I noticed about Game 7 is they will list their pitchers.
Yes.
That throw. So you can actually see who are throwing in those games and how many innings they've thrown, and when they've thrown. So,
Exactly.
That does give some detail, because I was looking yesterday. I was kind of looking at the C&H side of things on the 14U side, see how they did. And, you know, I've seen the teams that won it, you know, and they'd save their big arm for the last one so he can go all of them. Yep. And some of the teams had started, you know, early on and stuff like that. So I like to see that. One, I don't know if it gives me a competitive edge. I like to look at that and evaluate my group and, you know, kind of mimic what others are doing.
So, and let's just pull this up. We went to, of course, it was the Cinco de Mayo weekend. Now it kind of got blowed up a little bit on Saturday. So it looks like everybody just played basically Sunday. Whoever wanted to come in, jump in a one-day event. Okay. And I love that about Game 7. They will do that. They will offer that. You don't have to.
Yeah, that's what I liked. I actually, when we got the message, because we were in the tournament and we opted not to. Well, I did, I should say. I'm pretty sure my parents probably wanted to go do it, but we opted out, and all I did was just send a message back. There was no back and forth. There was no gotcha. You know, it was a very simple response. And you know, all I wanted to do was, for me, I wanted to take the day for my family. I had a day that I don't get these much often in the summertime, so I just took the day for my family. And we went fishing. So, you know, I'm sure
Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro.
There's not. I'm sure some of the parents are probably upset with me, but, you know, I needed to take family time, and it was nice not to just have them go, well, you know, you need to do this, you need to do that, or this happens or that happens. You know, it's just, hey, I'm going to apply
Everybody
this to
relax.
another tournament. Yeah, I'm just going to apply to another tournament. Dave responded very simply. There was no push, and I appreciate that. Going in there. Obviously, it left the tournament a little short, but they still had a good tournament and good turnouts because there was some competitive games. There were some blowouts in the 14U age group. That's all I paid attention
look at
to
and here at locally, Coach Rallo's Tigers, and you know the one young man from that team. That team is stacked.
That team is good.
That Rawlings Tigers team is very good.
That's the AAA major group.
Yeah, and you look at their pitching. They threw 3 guys all weekend. Cole Chambers in Game 2 went 5. Well, they didn't have the third game. They didn't register the numbers for the third game. So they went more than that. So there was probably somebody else. I don't know how that didn't get, but nonetheless. But in that first game, 2 guys went 3 innings each for the 6 games. And they won their first game 2-1 against the Mo Gators coach route squad. And he had a kid, Liam Atkinson, who went 5 innings there. Looks like he pitched a pretty good ball game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have one guy there that you have a guy, but then through the rest of the weekend, you're putting, as you can see, 2-3, 3-3. So the rest of it was split up between 4 other guys.
Yeah, that could have been a big statement game to them as well. You know, maybe it's not
Can we compete?
Yeah, maybe it's not about the championship game, but you're just getting ready to play one of the top teams in the area. Let's go ahead and throw our best arm out there just to see. And again, it's
and they lost, but it was 2-1 competitive game.
I'll take that all day long.
Absolutely. And
I want to have a chance to win.
Hey, there's Mr. Penning. It looks like coming up on here. Dave, you there?
Can you hear me, Brian?
We can hear you. We got Dave Penning. He's out running around doing all kind of stuff, and we got him on the phone here. We got him via the Game 7 baseball link.
Well, how come you didn't use your deep voice?
I thought it'd be best that I pull over because I was driving and trying to get on, hop on with you guys here, so I decided to take a safe approach and pull over here.
That's probably
Keep
smart.
it safe, Dave.
That's probably smart. It's a wise policy. Wise policy. We're talking to the kids here.
Safety first.
Safety first. So yeah, we've been gone through. We've been talking about Perryville. They had a really good tournament down there in Perryville.
Yeah, Mark, I talked with him throughout the weekend and did a great job of communicating. They actually had to take shelter. They had a tornado that was really, really close to come through there, so he communicated it well with the the players and the coaches and the fans, and got them to some safe shelter. And it blew over, and they finished playing a pool play on Saturday night.
Wow. Gotta love that.
Heck yeah.
I think it was great. When we were talking about the teams, and I think it's really nice that you're seeing some of those teams down in that corridor, that I-55 corridor from Festus on down through Cape Girardeau. And then how does that filter? So they get that local feel, and then that's filtering into a statewide feel. Am I wrong in that, Dave?
No, you're absolutely correct there. There was a nice mix of teams down there. A bunch of teams, the Jackson Tribe, they travel up to St. Louis a lot, the Bulls. And it was nice, I guess, for them to travel only about 40 miles instead of 140 this weekend. So there you go.
Exactly.
I'm sure
that's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah. And you saw some of the Illinois Gators had gone down there, and there were some St. Louis teams that had migrated down in that area too.
And I think that's I think that's what's important, and what I was saying, because you can play locally, then you get into the state, and I think this is what Game 7 is building. You play your local, you get then, if you want to come up playing a state championship, you play on the state level. Then if you're going out and playing in Kentucky, in Tennessee, up in Illinois, you go down to Southwest Missouri, in Springfield, some of those tournaments, you get more of a regional feel. Correct, Dave?
Yeah, that's exactly our intention, what we had in mind back in November when we released the schedule. And, that's exactly what we had in mind, Brian. And like you guys alluded to, there were some St. Louis teams that did go down there, and they're looking for a different venue, a different setting, a different atmosphere, and different teams to play. So that's precisely what we had in mind when we added those venues to our schedule.
Absolutely. And we were just picking up on the local here, Cinco de Mayo. You guys did a great job.
I took the rain delay.
You guys did the one-day tournament feel, and that seems to work out for some, and I love the way you guys offer that opportunity, Dave.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because it was a very, very, very good tournament. As you well know, the Cinco de Mayo, everybody loves the sombreros, and it was actually slated to start Friday night, and we were jam-packed, so unfortunately, we were rained out on Friday night and Saturday. And here again, when we do these one-day things, it's an option. And I just want to tip my cap to all the coaches who responded in a timely fashion, because, man, it's a lot of work to do it, and it is an option. And there were abundance of teams that opted out. Like I said, no hard feelings. That's what it is, and it's an option. Some directors or some companies, they actually schedule you and mandate it. But here at Game 7, our customers, we respect our customers, and we listen to them, and we made it an option. A lot of people wanted to play. What we do is like a big, huge puzzle, a 3,000-piece puzzle, if you will. We got to get all the teams in, get all the pieces of the puzzle on the table before we start to put the puzzle together. What I mean by that is we set a deadline at 11 o'clock for people to respond. And I tell you what, it was great. Everybody was responded yes or no in a timely fashion. So we got to get a jump on it around 10:30. We put it together, and what we did, we maximized each field space for each age division. And a lot of those you'll see on there, Brian, I'd say 70%, 75-80% of the teams. Well, we got 3 games in. With 4 teams, we did a little round robin. So you played everybody in your division, and you got 3 games out of it. So essentially what we had was 6 time slots, and we maximized it. So some of the divisions had 7 teams and 9 teams. What we did with those, we took 2 pool games, and then we had 1 more time slot left on the back end. So we took 1 versus 2 and then 3 versus 4 to maximize the time space we had allotted for in that one-day format. It worked out very well. Everybody was very appreciative of it, and I do have to hop off here in a minute, but I do want to thank precisely or specifically the guys at Chesterfield, the fans the coaches. That's the way it should be every weekend. What a pleasant weekend we had out there. There were a couple, flare ups, if you will, but for the most part, if I could have every weekend like that, that's what youth baseball should and is meant to be right there. It was a pleasant. Got abundance of emails in the inbox this weekend, full of positive feedback on the umpires, and I just want to take this time out right now to thank the fans and the coaches. That's the way it should be. The weekends should all go.
Let's go.
Dave, and one thing that I will say, Game 7's always taken a very hands-on, a very positive approach to your umpires. You guys have your meetings, you talk to your umpires, you respect what they do, and I think that shows, and the guys enjoy working with you with Game 7 baseball. And so I do think it brings about a better feel and a better attitude that way. Agreed?
Oh, agreed. And Dave and I have a simple business MO. It's treat people the way you want to be treated, man. And it goes a long way. And we actually do care about the guys and the young ladies who are out there helping us on a daily basis. And we do not leave them stranded on the island out there per se. There's always a support staff with them. We always have a director or a UIC both to be there for support and help them along the way. And it goes a long way. It speaks volumes. We take care of the people who, take care of us, and we treat them as such. And we could not do it without their help.
Dave, you said you got to get going. I love you jumping in here, man. We appreciate it. I know you're busy and got a lot going on. If you need to jump off, go ahead, and we'll keep going here. But thanks for jumping in, bro.
Yeah, I apologize for my tardiness, man. I was at the airport dropping my wife off, and it was a little chaotic. So I was trying to get on, and people are honking at me saying, "Come on, let's go." I'm like, "Oh, I better get somewhere and pull over." So I appreciate you. Apologize my tardiness, and thanks for having me on.
Hey, always. We'll see you this weekend out at Ozzy's, man, for Mother's Day.
Hey, looking forward to it. Got a special treat for the moms this weekend too, by the way.
Sweet.
Well, what about
it ain't Dad's weekend, dude. It's Mom's.
I know, but I'm the only one there. I'm just kidding.
Mercy.
I'm not that guy.
Dave, you have a good day, buddy.
Okay, guys. Thanks. Take care. Bye now.
Bye. Dave Penning jumping in there for us, guys. That was really good. Appreciate Dave doing that because he's out running around. But, I want to finish up a little bit here as to what we're doing and how we're moving through these things. But that goes to it, and we're looking at this. The 12U Major, one day you got these teams out there. You got Edwardsville Tigers, Rawlings Tigers, 4-3 ball game, 4-4. Had a run rule there. 11-6, another tough one there, 12-2, but 4-0, 10-6, 13-7, 9-3. Really, actually, few games there that got away. Again, I think that's pitching. I think that's one of the toughest things at these levels, in my estimation, when you're dealing with this, is I just don't know. Pitching is such a premium at every level.
Pitching and defense. It's always going to be pitching and defense. I mean, you can, it's, again, going back to the GACs, look how strong our pitching is in this conference. There's not a ton of games that have big scores.
Right.
There's obviously games that it's happened, but there's not a lot of big scores out there.
And so we're going to jump down real quick. And we're going to, sorry guys, I was communicating a little bit to my engineer over there. So we're going to jump over to the Cinco De Mayo down in Branson, too. They had one going on in Branson, the Cinco De Mayo Branson. And 10U, and of course, that's what we were talking about with Dave. You have the local stuff that, like what Perryville's doing. And even some of the stuff around here is pretty local in the St. Charles. And you get up in Quincy, you'll do that. And they go over into Illinois at the turf fields in Edwardsville and things like that. So there's all this push and movement that way, right? So I think it's really cool. Then you get down here and you see a little bit more of that regional action when you get into that Branson Ballparks of America. You got building champions coming down from Kansas City. 618. Now 618, that's one of those Chicago, I think, right?
I think the coin's up near Chicago area.
Yeah. And then you got NBC out of, that's right there, local, Nixa, Missouri. Oklahoma Outsiders, Midwest Mavericks, of course, is Springfield, but Southern Illinois Shockers and the Diamond Stars. The Diamond Stars, that's Imperial, Missouri. So you got that flavor where you're getting a little more regional look and comparing yourself against some of these teams. And it can be tough to get some wins in that. The Midwest Mavericks, the 10U, took down the SI Shockers 10-6 in the championship game there. So good ball games. On the 11U side, again, here we are. LS Sox, Lee Summit, Missouri. And UA Prospects, Mineral Area. That's Cape Girardeau. No, it's St. Jen in that area, right?
No,
I'm pretty sure because that's Mineral Area Junior College.
Click it. I think
we're going to click it
or something like that.
Farmington. Look at you with your bad, funky self. There you go.
I know a little bit. But you're the host of the show, so I wanted you to be correct.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. That's okay. Arkansas Chosen Few, KC Warriors.
Listen, I was throwing a dart, and I got lucky.
Missouri Titans, the Crushers. I don't know where the Crushers are from. Springfield. They're a local team there, Springfield. Strike Zone, also Rogers, Arkansas. Washington Bulls. That's Washington, Missouri. So, I mean, really.
I've never even heard that.
You know, I mean, look at that. And
that was 10 teams, right? 10 teams in that 11U age group?
Yeah. And the Lee Summit Sox come out on top over Mineral Area. 8-6. Good ball game. From Farmington. So, I think just that whole feel of that is really good, right? And then you got, there's Raymore Rampage. I guarantee you that's Kansas City.
I'm guessing.
We were correct. Raymore, Missouri. That's Kansas City area. Redbirds baseball, Moco Tribe, Kansas Rebels, Kansas out of Lawrence.
That's a nice travel.
Yeah, that's a good drive down there. So I
wonder if their colors are blue and red.
You want to see my shock face if they're not? Redbirds baseball. I would say that might be even an Illinois team. Oh, that's Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I was thinking that was the St. Louis Redbirds.
Yeah, I was thinking more of that. But Tulsa, Oklahoma, come over, won the championship over the Pioneers out of Leavenworth, Kansas, 12-5. So again, you're getting that regional feel in that Cinco de Mayo in Branson.
That has a draw though. Every single weekend you go down there, there's teams from Oklahoma or Arkansas. Obviously, you see in Kansas, North Kansas City area, and St. Louis, parts of the Metro East, I guess too. And I guess the draw is Branson itself.
Sure.
And then the fields are turf.
Right.
So you're going to play usually, unless it's just raining while you're trying down there. But we had, when we were down there early on in the season, it had rained on us, and we had a half-hour delay to let the rain pass, and that was fun. Kids slid a mile, so it's the first time they got the chance to play on turf.
And this was a 15-team tournament for that 13U. The Missouri Bulls, Missouri Sticks, Southwest Missouri Bears, Rawlings Tigers, Oklahoma Cutters, Ranger Baseball Club. That is out of Kearney, Missouri. The Eureka Eagles, Redbirds Baseball, Oklahoma, out of Tulsa. Southwest Missouri Wolves, Titans Baseball, SI Shockers, Building Champions. NWA, that's Northwest Arkansas, the Nitro there. Springfield Inferno, that's a Missouri squad. Springfield Mo, a little local there. And the Knights out of Jefferson City. So that's a big-time tournament right there, folks. 15 teams. You got to bring your lunch. You better have some pitching depth, right? I mean, because you're playing, if you get in that bottom half of the bracket, you're going to play 3 games to try and win that. And the Missouri Bulls were the number 1 seed and did win the championship. So, again, there's a team with some pitching depth, it looks like.
Clearly.
Because you got the number 1 seed, you went 2-0 in bracket or in pool play, and then 2-0 to finish it off, and it was close games.
So they got to buy. They got to buy the first.
They got
one.
the buy, and Oklahoma Cutters. They beat them 4-0 in the semifinal, and then Missouri Sticks. That's Mike Morgan, Mark Gerard.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Gerard's squad is a good team. That Missouri Sticks is a good team. Missouri Bulls beat them 4-3. So that was a really good baseball game.
Yes, sir.
At the 13U level. Good baseball all around. Down in the silver bracket, the Southwest Missouri Wolves beat the SI Shockers 6-4. Again, I think this was a really good tournament. There's a lot of regional feel to that. You can kind of test and see where you're at on that level. And I think going into 14U, that's a really good thing because you might want to travel a little more, see how your kids perform in that regional aspect.
Agree. I know that, for our group, Branson was our travel tournament. We're not really looking to travel much, trying to build that group first. I wanted to ask Dave, and I'll ask Dave next time, about the high school level in Game 7, especially since we were kind of talking about the GACs to kind of start the show, and then, the 14U is the focus this year. I do want to have a little bit of touch on the Game 7 in high school.
Yeah.
See how prevalent they are there, or the age groups.
They have started. They have their high school series, but again,
it's all geared
I'd
towards
leave that.
youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
For the most, and they've done that, but you never know what you see. And I think there could be. I would love to see something a little bit more on a league thought process with the high school kids. How are you playing during the week? But because we're so very focused on the tournament side. And the kids go to these showcase tournaments, and they do that. But that teaching aspect of playing team baseball, keeping that alive, you're playing that in high school. Can you maintain that? Do you have that team that you play with in the summertime that you know the guys? How are you building camaraderie? How are you building relationships? And I think it's very important, that team aspect, as we've discussed, that at every next level, from high school to college to professional baseball, you're in a setting with egos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just a fact, because you have to have that confidence level to play, to continue to go to the next level, and that confidence. And it breeds that confidence, and it sometimes can be overwhelming for some kids. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with somebody else that is maybe an alpha as well, and it becomes, I think that's the necessary thing. And do we have those coaches that can help these kids understand that thought process?
Well, I'm the one thing I do like about high schools is the Slava leagues and even Legion. They still play 7-inning baseball games, and they're trying to give the experience of what it's like to play high school ball, and then maybe beyond. And right now you walk into a tournament weekend, we play on a time clock. We don't play numbers of innings. So you might only get 1 or 2 at-bats a game. High school, 7 innings, you can get in 3 at-bats. You have to have pitching depth. Your arms have to be able to, withstand 7 innings, and then the body. You're playing 2.5 hours maybe, or 2 hours, depending on how the pitching goes. So I am a big fan of having a league that is geared towards high school baseball.
Right.
To play in the standards of high school baseball.
Right.
The rule book. So that would be an interesting one. I know Slava does that now. We have a couple of our high school teams that compete on the Slava side for that purpose.
Yeah.
And they it's a big schedule. They play 20-something games a year. But it's cool though. They have an all-star game. They have a tournament of champions kind of thing, and they give awards, and they have banquet ceremonies, and it's a neat feel. They're still doing a really good job of when it started back in the 90s, or whatever. I think it was in the 90s at Medlock.
American Legion, same thought process.
Yeah, I think Legion struggles a little bit, but because of the Legion aspect that you have to play for your post, where Slava is allowing some like club teams to get involved. It's not necessarily an area anymore of high schools. It's not that draw. So I think Slava tried to adapt a little bit to the current setting of baseball. So I think that's why Slava might be a little bit more relevant than Legion. in the sense of
In
at
this
least
area?
at least in the big towns.
Yeah.
In small towns, Legion still can be a big deal.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff. Game 7 Baseball. Game7baseball.com. There was some really good tournament baseball this weekend as we went through this. I know we'll get to some Tennessee stuff in the future. We gotta try and squeeze it all in. It's tough, man. You're all in these areas, but go check out the stuff if you want to go down to Tennessee. I think there's some great stuff down there. Challenge yourself. Kentucky, they got Kentucky coming up again as well. So, hey, folks, appreciate you tuning in for this tournament wrap-up show. Big shout out to Dave for jumping in when he could, and appreciate that. And we'll have him back next week. We'll be out at the ballpark this week for Mother's Day. We'll be at Ozzy's with the 14Us, having some fun, and we will bring some more stuff with the kids. We're going to be out there. It's Mother's Day. We're going to be doing our trivia. We'll get the interviews. Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fun out there at the ballpark. So make sure you stop by if you're in the tournament. If you're in the Game 7 Mother's Day tournament, stop by the portable studio that we have set up. Say hi. We'd love to hear from you. So until next time, everybody, have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and you hitters,
well, they ain't.
that's called doubles and dingers, just so you know.
We're all about the extra base hits.
We'll see you next time.